Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's exciting chat show on enhancing customer interaction with Gen AI-powered chatbots. We'll be exploring how Gen AI chatbots are revolutionizing customer service, focusing on real-world use cases, and we recently implemented ChatGenie for a leading telecom company selling mobile connections across India. I am Pallavi, your host, and we have two incredible guests with us today. First, we have Mr. Anil Nair, the CEO of AiQod, who is leading innovation in AI for business across industries. Welcome, Mr. Anil.
Thank you, Pallavi. Good to be back.
And joining us, Mr. Ajay Kumar, an IT expert with over 25 years of industry experience, who has seen the evolution of chatbot technology from its early days to the powerful AI driven tools we have today. Welcome, Mr. Ajay.
Thanks, Pallavi, and glad to be here. It will be nice to share the journey, and we have been taking this journey for a long. So nice to share my story here.
Thank you, Mr. Ajay. Since you have been in the industry for over 2 decades, you have witnessed the evolution of chatbots firsthand. Can you give us a quick overview of how chatbot technology started and where we are today?
Okay, so absolutely we will do that. The business has been always customer centric, and business always wanted to allow customer to reach out to them. And as the technology progressed, the meaning and methods of customer reaching out to the companies have been changing. Now, earlier in almost like 60s and 70s, there were programs written where Elijah was one of the programs which started the machine to human interface. And the program was part of a program run by MIT, and they did quite a lot of fascinating work there. And it a lot of games and a lot of interaction projects were created at that point of time. Later, all these technologies started to come in the business. And in early days, the chat bots, before chatbot, when customer has to reach out to the company, they had to go and visit the premise. Then the telephony comes, so they can actually call them. Then mobile came, they can also call on mobile while they're on the move. So as the time progressed, the business started to catch on the technology and started to use it for the customer and business interaction. So chatbot was quite an interesting feature where machine was able to give 24 by 7 access to information to the customers of a business. Now earlier the chatbots which were there were only able to answer a predefined set of questions, and anything beyond that you still needed a human interface, and sometimes the responses were not really up to mark of what the question is being asked. So here, when the Gen AI around 2010, the Gen AI technologies have come, the chat has started to become more intelligent. Now the chat have started to understand human feeling, emotions, and they are able to actually come back with the more human like response rather than just pre-written responses. So that's how the NLP and machine learning has brought a big change in the game, and the chatbots have become more intelligent, more human.
Pallavi, you're on mute.
Thank you, Mr. Ajay, for sharing the insightful details about the evolution of AI chatbots. I have another question with Mr. Anil.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Could you tell us how AI-powered chatbots are reshaping customer interaction?
I think, see what's happening. I think Ajay covered a lot of aspects about expectation, customer expectations, and all. Today, if you look at customers, and I'm just referring to Gen Z, right? Most of the 40% of population, workforce population today is Gen Z. Okay. Now, if you look at Gen Z, if you look at from a behavioral aspect, right? All of them are actually, glued to mobile. Okay. And Gen Z, if we talk about Gen AI versus Gen Z, I think Gen AI was created by Gen Z kind of population, right? And probably to help themselves to ease their life. And most of them are actually glued to mobile, right? And I'm talking with respect to even my family, my daughter, who is always glued to mobile. Now, look at from a customer service perspective, right? In olden days, if I talk to my seniors and people at my age and maybe my directors, they would like to talk, right? They pick up the call and talk to people. But when you look at Gen Z, they always like to chat. If I ask my daughter to talk to her teacher for something, she will actually send a message. She will not call, right? That's a difference between Gen Z and probably the older generation. And now I'm going to relate this to the customer support. Now, as the consumer, 40% of workforce is Gen Z. What is the expectation that you will have, right? Probably they would not like to call people, right? They would like to have responses on the chat. So they would like to freely chat whenever they are, ready. They should get response immediately, right? They would not like to wait on a call for 5 minutes, waiting time and things like that. So this is where I think the change is coming, where the expectation of the industry, which is driven by Gen Z population, is coming. They would like to see more customer support, which is more real time. I think you have kind of listed down those slides as well, so I can just possibly go through it. So 24/7 availability, right? Now this is what the new generation would like to see. So this is where one of the point which is very important for new generation. The customer support should be instant, 24/7, and we look at from a population point of view. If you are building a product in India, right, and you have a customer base which is around the globe, can you actually build a team which is working 24/7, right? How effective it will be. Plus, you look at from other angles, which is mentioned below. Look at, if I combine this with multilingual support. Now, imagine if you're catering to a global customer set, imagine how many languages you need to support, how many people you will be required to train or get onboarded who are those speaking in those kind of languages. So it's going to be very tough to manage such an ecosystem, not very cost effective as well, right? So that's the second aspect. Personalization, right? When you talk about, if you might have seen the experience, right? When you actually call a customer support, typically what happens is, they put you on hold for some time, right? What typically they are doing during that time is actually finding the answers for the questions which you have posted, or probably digging into a CRM system to get your data so that they can answer your queries. Now, these are all delays which happens in terms of customer support, and this is where Gen AI completely changes the equation. And Gen AI can actually instantly connect to multiple systems, talk in your own language, get data from your database, and actually respond. Improving efficiency, I think that's another important point. Like I mentioned, Gen Z would like to see instant responses, right? Not just Gen Z. I mean, now even a lot of people are losing patience in the fast-paced world. So everyone is looking for quick results, quick answers, and this is where Gen AI can be very handy. Quick customer support can be really, really effective. Cost saving, yes. Instead of putting people 24/7, if there is a chat bot which can actually work along with people or customer service representatives, then it will be more effective as well. Last but not the least, I think customer satisfaction. If you are giving instant responses, satisfying responses, because these are all, referring to all the information which you already have provided to the organization. So the system, actually, the chatbot understands your, history of conversation, past transactions. If the chatbot is looking at all those data points before responding to, your queries, obviously it will be more satisfying than people asking the same question and again and again. And I will give you one of the examples where, old example. I will not take the name of the company, but something happened with one of the device which I took, and it took almost 6 months for me to get it repaired. And You don't know in how many times I had to make calls to the customer service during that period of time. And it was really frustrating because every time I had to give the entire story to the customer service representative to answer to the same questions, right? I mean, they have a standard set of questions which they ask, and you have to respond to them. A shift changes, then the next person comes, the same question are asked again. So it was really frustrating, a personal experience. And I feel this chatbot now changes the whole equation. And of course, the evolution, what Ajay mentioned about how chatbots have had evolved, that also helps, right? Earlier, probably the chatbots were not very effective. Today, with the power of Gen AI, the chatbots are really becoming effective and answering to the point question, raising, requests on your behalf. A lot of things can be done, using chatbots. I'll stop it here. And,
Anil, I will add few interesting points here.
yes,
See,
please.
one interesting point which is not listed here is basically consumer behavior. Okay. Now, I'll give you an example. When the mobile telephony was introduced in Indonesia, and one of the operator did something, and what they did, SMS, they made it free. So what happened? Indonesians people, since SMS was free, they were fascinated by doing SMS communication rather than calling the person because calling was having a rate, but the SMS was free. Now, I have visited Indonesia and I was fascinated to see how fast people can actually send SMS, receive SMS, and they're like as if they're just communicating with each other over SMS. And it was a real entire nation was absolutely SMS crazy, and they were able to communicate through SMS. So that was a consumer behavior created because of a specific instance of a technology being freely available. Right. So this is a very basic human nature. If you have something you're adopted, then you carry on with that. That consumer behavior today, people are more getting knowledge and comfortable with WhatsApp University, Instagram pages. So they want things on the WhatsApp. They want things like a chat, something like where they just need to go there and they get everything. Now that's the consumer behavior, and what ChatGenie is, looks like what it is doing is actually capturing the essence of that consumer behavior and bringing the entire industry, basically entire customer interaction through this channel effortlessly at a very cost effective price. So definitely this is going to be kind of the next industry standard as far as I can see.
Very true, Ajay. In fact, we are so used to Telegram and WhatsApp kind of chats that when I'm sending SMS also, I don't write in one full sentence. I write, three, four SMS. I send three, four SMSs when I have to, as if I'm actually using WhatsApp. So
Right.
yeah, that's a consumer behavior you were speaking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank
Pallavi.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Mr. Anil and Mr. Ajay, for sharing your experience about the trends of AI-powered chatbots. I have a couple of questions from our participants today, and we want to have a quick poll with you guys. So we have a question about the 24/7 support system. So how important is 24/7 customer support system to your business? And here we are bringing up the poll.
We have not received it. Looks like there is a technical glitch.
Yeah, we are just running into the backend. Just give me a minute.
Okay. I mean, if there is a delay, can we continue and maybe we can send the poll a bit later?
Sure, sure. Let's move ahead with the next slide.
Okay. So I think Ajay already mentioned about the consumer behavior and he gave an example of a telecom company. So we are, talking about a telecom use case where how chatbots can actually help in telecom industry. In fact, Ajay and me, both of us have a decade, more than decade of experience in telecom industry. So we can chat a lot about that. So coming to telecom industry itself, the first and foremost is handling queries. Okay, how Gen AI based chatbots are important and why it helps. Now look at from a ratio of how many customer service representatives you will have in an organization versus how many consumers are there or subscribers are there, right? Billions and billions of subscribers are actually using mobile daily, and while they are using daily mobile, they may have queries, right? Imagine lakhs of queries which are coming to a telecom operator. Will there be enough people to manage these responses? And what happens is that this is not a evenly distributed query, right? I mean, you don't get queries on an evenly basis that, okay, 1,000 queries will come on a daily basis. Suddenly there will be a crisis and you will suddenly get millions of responses or millions of queries, right? So this is typically the case, right? You will have a crisis, something happened somewhere, and suddenly a lot of phone calls will go, and probably queries will come to these CSRs. Now, what happens during that time is the number of CS are not enough, right? So there is a lot of up and down in terms of number of queries handling. I mean, the number of queries which are coming to these telecom operators. So it is not a predictable volume, right? This is where to balance out and to reduce wait times, the chat genie can help in tandem working with customer service representative to address queries. I think I mentioned also already about the 24/7 availability, right? Why do you call customer support? Because you get stuck somewhere, right? Imagine you are stuck in the middle of the night with some issue, and your customer support is not available at that point of time. And yeah, it's understandable, right? You cannot serve every customer 24/7. Of course, do looking at the cost angle as well, right? Now, if you are as a consumer, if you put yourself into a consumer shoe, and all of you are consumers as well. So look at from a point of view, you're stuck in the middle of the night and you want to address some problem immediately. If there is no one available, you will be frustrated, right? This is where the Gen AI-based chatbots becomes very, very crucial for industry to adopt and help their consumer as well. Third, personalization, right? Chat Genie, I mean, for example, let's say look at from a mobile telecom provider perspective, there are a huge number of queries which actually goes to mobile handset operators about, I want to, change my plan. What is the best plan for me? Let's say I want to, port into your system. Can you help me doing that? Now, all these are questions which are related, very personal, right? I mean, my preference will be very different from Ajay's preference. Now, if the consumer personal preferences are understood by organization, understood by telecom operator, and when they respond, right, they respond based on our preferences. It would be very, from a user experience, customer satisfaction point of view, it will be really, great. So this is where Chat Genie, Gen AI based Chat Genie can help. It can really look at your preferences, your history, your background, your data, and then you can actually converse with Chat Genie in a very personalized manner, right? This is what personalization would help in telecom industry. Operational costs, if you look at, again, I had mentioned this earlier as well. Look at the labor costs, look at the efficiency that you will gain. 24 example I mentioned was about 24/7 support, right? Imagine if you have 100 people, and along with that there are 100 genies which are working along with you, right? You look at all the complex queries which are not possible to be handled by, let's say, a chatbot. This is where you can balance that workout, help in terms of operational costs, help in terms of customer satisfaction, and help the overall telecom industry. Now, we just took an example of telecom industry. This is valid for almost every industry possible. In our last webinar, I had mentioned about tractor manufacturing company, right? Whose customers are all farmers, and they may not be well versed with English. So, and each of those farmers will be regional farmers in their own states. They will have know-how of their local languages, right? Now, can you allocate I mean, is it possible humanly to allocate enough number of customer service representatives who can actually be local speaking, I mean, people who can speak the local languages, right? Is it possible to build such a support system, right? It's practically impossible. So how, you can actually talk to chat genie or chatbot and converse in your own language and get responses related to pricing and pricing details and your, earlier requests which you had raised. Those are the things kind of, change the whole equation. So it is not just telecom we took as a use case. There are huge industry segments which will adopt and which will have to adopt soon. Otherwise, it will be very, very challenging for them to, sustain in long term. There'll be a lot of other competitors who will come and take this market, right? Because like I mentioned earlier, 40% by 2030, 40% of the workforce will be Gen Z. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, Pallavi.
Before that, I have just launched a poll for our audience in understanding how will the implementation of AI chatbot will likely to impact your customer service operation.
So Pallavi, once the poll is submitted, you can, oh, okay. You can tell us what is the final result.
The final result is 9 out of 9 people are saying that it significantly improves the customer experience.
Okay, so 100% people are for
Yes.
it. Excellent. So actually, that's the truth, right? I mean, we all know what we have faced in terms of customer support, not for any, uh, wrong reasons. I mean, for example, very recently I was talking to one of the customers, and they were saying that mostly these customer support calls are outsourced, and when it is outsourced, you are not able to control them enough, right? That's one part. Secondly, the ups and downs are so much that you are not able to cater to the calls. Even if there are new customers who are coming in, how will the team talk your lingo or talk your language to actually sell your products, right? It's very, very difficult. So it's a challenging environment. We all understand that. So what we are trying to do is, or what rather chat bots are trying to do, Gen AI based chatbots are trying to do is help these industries, customers, enterprises to adopt these technologies and help in growing them and sustaining themselves. Okay. Oh, I think there is a live demo. All yours, Pallavi.
Yes. So we want to share with our participants today how AI powered chatbot looks like, and we at AiQod 360 also have Chat Genie, which is an AI powered chatbot. So here's a short video for you just to understand how the functionality works at the back end and at the front end, and how easy it is to implement with your website. Let me know if you're able to hear the voice audio.
So audio is not
Just give me a minute.
We are not able to hear Pallavi.
One second.
Yeah.
Let me know if you're able to hear and see the video now. Otherwise, we'll play it in the end of the webinar. AiQod 360. Is it audible?
Yes.
Meet Chat Genie by AiQod 360, the smart AI chatbot that transforms how businesses interact with customers. Offering 24/7 customer support system along with 22 Indian languages and various international languages, ChatGenie helps in reducing customer wait time and eliminates frustrating IVR calls, ensuring an instant response and a seamless experience. It is integrated with your company's document and it delivers personalized, human like answers, driving better customer satisfaction. With ChatGenie, you can boost productivity, increase your business, engage with customers in a positive and a faster manner with no capex investment and business growth. I will be showing you how ChatGenie is working at the backend. This is our front door of AiQod 360 backend, and here we have ChatGenie's database management system, wherein you can import all the PDFs, policies, documents which are required to address any of your customers' queries. This knowledge base can be dense and it can be in unstructured manner. The documents can be imported in text, PDF, Excel, images, or video format. So, once you have uploaded these documents, you can then go back to ChatGenie and integrate the ChatGenie with your website. Now, any of your customers who are coming in and if they have any queries, they can just directly put in their queries in ChatGenie and they will be able to get the answers. I'm a BSNL customer and I have just seen an ad somewhere and I want to know more details about a particular plan. So I want to know about this plan, which is under 520.
Plan 525 is 285 GB data, with rollover up to 255 GB, unlimited calls, 1 SMS per day, 1 additional family SIM.
So it can even speak to you if you don't want to type. Now, I am interested in purchasing this plan. So I want to buy this plan.
Good choice. Do you want me to place the order?
Yes, place the order.
Thank you for buying. Your order has been placed.
It is so easy for your company to make sales from a Gen AI powered chatbot because it's a human like experience and you can even speak to ChatGenie in multiple languages. So if my customer base is more comfortable in Marathi, then I can just select that language from here and I can ask questions in Marathi. It will go back to the database and find the answer.
हरवलेल्या सिमच्या FIR ची प्रत आणि रु. जमा पावती मिळाल्यानंतर त्याच मोबाईल.
This is so easy for me to understand and thank you for watching this video. So this is one of our Gen AI powered chatbot and moving forward to the slides, I'll just quickly share my screen.
this is really a game changer for the industry.
Absolutely. And here are some of the challenges and best practices for you, Mr. Ajay and Mr. Anil.
Yeah, so talking about the challenges, like we, uh, mentioned in our previous webinar, every industry, every segment, every product, when they adopt these kind of technologies, they will go through some of those challenges. And if we talk about Gen AI based chatbots, one of the main aspects would be the fine tuning which will be required of these chatbots to give the correct responses, right? Of course, with the chat Gen AI, it has completely changed, it has completely evolved, and it has become really, really fast. Ajay was talking initially about the NLP based architecture. Initially, NLP based architectures were used to build these kind of chatbots, and it was really time consuming to train, to model these systems to respond to human like queries. Right now with Gen AI, it becomes really, really fast. So I think one of the most important element is that uh, it has to be a hand. I think there is one pop-up which is coming in, Pallavi, just a sec. It is very important that you have a combination of people as well as Gen AI-based chatbots which work in tandem to actually provide better experience for customers. For example, if you look at from a point of view of how do we improve, right? In olden days, we used to train machine learning by correcting the data and things like that. Here also, it has similar behavior. You keep feeding information, correct information to the chatbot, and it will actually self-learn to improve itself, right? This is the way the model is built for Chat Genie, and this is the way the model has to be built for any chatbots which helps customers, right? You learn on the go, you learn from the mistakes that you make, and you kind of improve all the while. That's the first part. Second is handling customer queries, complex queries. Um, Now, not, I mean, so we are improving, right? If you look at today, the Chat Genie may not be so sophisticated, but they have come a long way. I mean, like the first slide actually showed, the first chatbot was built in 1960. Okay, I mean, we can't even imagine that. Okay, chatbot was built in 1960. Looking at when chatbots were extensively used, right? Now, if it was built in 1960, why are we talking about chatbot so highly at this stage? That's because of the amount of improvement which has happened. Ajay also mentioned about evolution of how Chat GPT came into existence and changed the whole game. The same thing happened, right? Chatbots have evolved. Chatbots have come a long way, and doesn't mean that we have done enough, right? We are going to still continue. So now I was trying to set up the context. The context is about complex queries. Can Chat Genie or chatbot handle everything possible in the world? Not possible, right? If there are complex queries which has to relate to 10 different data sets of as a consumer, your 10 data points and respond to you, right? It's not going to be so easy today. Now, these are the challenges which will keep on evolving, keep on, addressed by technology experts, and soon these problems will be solved. In the meantime, what is the solution? I think one of the solution is to definitely, have a handshake between people and chatbots work together and make chatbots more efficient. That's one. Secondly, technology wise, we keep working on these challenges, and we will ensure that these challenges are resolved or addressed in future versions of chatbots. So that's a second part of handling complex queries. Third is data privacy, right? Now we all know that Gen AI is very open-ended, right? If you are smart enough, you are intelligent enough, you can actually ask a lot of questions to chatbots. I think that's where also data privacy security becomes important. That earlier it was a customer service representative who was going to answer your queries, right? And answer only queries about your data. Now imagine now there is a system behind. Now that's a scary thing, right? That okay, now my system, one system which is a chatbot has all the data about all the consumers. right? And can I go and break it somehow, right? This is where the scary part is, and this is where I think a lot of process are being said. There are guardrails which are put in place to ensure these kind of mishaps or security threats doesn't happen. And yes, these areas are also evolving. While the miscreants are getting more intelligent, even the good people are becoming more intelligent or building more effective tools. So this data privacy issue will also get sorted soon. Yeah, Pallavi, you can move on to the next slide.
Uh, Anil,
Yeah, please go ahead, Ajay.
Yeah, so another aspect which is hardware, and typically what we have seen earlier, the Windows programs did not had a lot of animation, but as the hardware aspect progressed, a lot of animation has come into GUI. Okay, so in chatbot also the technology, of course, is has the capability, but underlying hardware was not available at a affordable price earlier. And recently, around 2020, NVIDIA did a lot of smart movements in hardware area, and that has brought a lot of these capabilities of Gen AI at affordable hardware prices. And that's where actually the since it is like Google, the models have at affordable hardware cost, it is available for public to use. And today, if I look at Gen Z, you have been mentioning Gen Z. Earlier, Gen Zs were going to Google to ask questions. Now they're going to Chat GPT to ask questions. So that's a massive change already has happened in the industry, happened in the people, the social behavior, the behavior interaction has changed already, and definitely business has to follow. And ChatGenie is actually bringing and bridging this gap. And as the hardware cost is getting, one of the challenges was the hardware cost, which has already been, made optimum. And definitely, the next decade is going to be Gen AI decade.
I agree.
Absolutely, Mr. Anil.
I completely
Yes.
agree, Ajay. I think, out of 10 customers, 9 would ask me this question about the cost of the hardware, because there has been so much of discussion, so many topics about hardware costs, shooting up because of Gen AI equipment, because of, GPU, availability of GPU machines and GPUs. So it has been a problem. If you ask me, if it was been a problem for the last couple of years, but over the last 1 year, there are a lot of other players who have come into play. In fact, if India also got into building these chips, right, semiconductor chips and all. So India is also going to, share a lot of load in terms of building such chips and helping the world to ensure that they get affordable machines and hardware.
Absolutely. Just one, parallels I want to, bring here for the audience, knowledge sake. In the 1970s, there were a lot of Gulf War, and, the oil crisis has hit. And then we said in 2001, the knowledge is the new fuel, and, internet, paved the way to make information as the new fuel. Now, next decade is going to be actually the generative AI as a fuel. So how does it work? Definitely the hardware coupled with the capability of model is going to drive the next set of business. And I won't be surprised seeing unicorns coming out of these areas.
Definitely, Ajay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anil and Mr. Ajay, for such an insightful discussion and historical information. Now let's open the floor for our audience, and another poll is coming up. I have another poll and a question from our audience. How
Um,
important is 24/7 customer support to your business? Let's wait for 3-4 minutes. Let everyone answer the question. And please, I request everyone to participate in this poll because it will help us understand your thought process as well here.
If we get a lesser vote, then I didn't do a good job. because at least, there were a couple of slides where I was mentioning about 24/7 support.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for everyone. And here are the results. 50% of the people think it's essential and it's very important. So close to everyone thinks that 24/7 customer support is important for the business for a positive customer experience.
Sure.
Now, if you have any questions for us, please put in the chat box and Mr. Anil and Ajay will help you out with the answers.
Yeah. So just outside, comment on the second poll question. Okay. See, basically, a, a business thinks that this is essential for me. Okay. But the competitor comes and he changes the definition of what is essential. So, for example, in Mumbai, earlier you just need to raise your hand and the taxi is coming. Today you go to Mumbai, you raise your hand, taxi doesn't come. Even if there are hundreds of taxis, lined up there, but you raise your hand, they are not coming because now the basic behavior has changed. You need to do Ola or Uber to actually get the taxi. So the consumer behavior has changed. The expectation has been changed. What was essential earlier is no more essential now. So the competitor, the disruptors already bring technology into play and they change what is essential, the definition of what is essential. So today, if we believe this is, 24/7 is very important, but there will be a, competitor in your industry who is going to come and make it essential. And then you will realize that it has become an essential part of the business. And that's how business are actually growing. Okay. So just a side.
Yeah, and actually one more example, if I can just add to it, Ajay, look at Big Basket, okay? I mean, and I'm talking about that quick commerce segment, right? Earlier, we used to go to supermarkets to buy stuff. It kind of got changed into, online ordering. Now there is a quick commerce, right? I mean, I was listening to people who were saying that now in India, actually people while cooking, they remember that, okay, something is missing and they quickly order, right? And very recently I was listening to someone from Big Basket management. They are planning to actually move major part of their focus into quick commerce rather than the ordering part. I mean the old way of Big Basket, right? So this is how the consumer behavior you're mentioning, like the taxis you mentioned, things are changing so fast.
Absolutely. Swiggy brought Instamart and Big Basket had to bring now, Big BB now. So
Correct.
that's how, the what is not essential, very important, will become essential, provided one of them does it.
Right. Okay, Pallavi?
And if you could also help us understand the future of chatbot with Gen AI.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't see the slide. Okay, so now I mentioned about Gen AI based chatbots. I mean, we are still a long way to go to perfection, and there is no perfection, at any point of time, right? We need to keep improving, and this is where we believe that these are the 3, 4 areas where things will start shaping up for better in case of chatbots. One is proactive and predictive chatbots, right? So what does that mean for you, right? So I think I had mentioned earlier an example that, okay, so here there is an example, I can refer to that. So if you go to a cafe and they already know what kind of drink you order, and that's very powerful, right? You don't need to actually spend a lot of time explaining when you are going in there, making something ready which you want, right? And that's really scary, but it's very important from a user experience point of view. If there is a chatbot which understands you, I know there may be other thoughts that it is getting into privacy and a lot of other things, but at the same time, it's for those users who would like convenience over these aspects, right? This is where chatbots will become more proactive and predictive. It will understand user behavior from the past and suggest based on your experience and your past history on what you need, in future. Second, automatic suggestions, right, and offers, right? Again, similar concept, but imagine if there are offers which are given to you based on, again, your past data, what you like, what you dislike. So it narrows down. It becomes very focused effort, right? Look at from what Ajay mentioned about why people go to Chat GPT and not, Google. I mean, one of the prime reason for that is you get exact answer. It may not be 100% right, right? But you save the effort of thinking about 10 other things. Okay, everyone, there is other view as well that, we are using less of our brains. Keeping all that aside, why there are so many consumers going to ChatGPT? Because it is giving you exact answer. Now, if imagine if there is a chatbot which understands you well and is going to give you exact answer, right? The exact offer which you would like, will you go and look at 10 other options? And that's difficult, right? I mean, I always tell people when I go to a restaurant, when I look at the menu, it's always confusing. I want to eat almost everything, but can I, right? But imagine if there is a waiter who's coming in and saying that, okay, sir, this is very good in this place. Most of the time, what will happen is you will pick up that. And why that happens is because you don't want to go to the hassle of choosing from a big list. And this is the psychology, right? Here also, if what is offered to you matches with your liking, the customer experience kind of grows big time. Last but not the least, seamless integration with customer data. I think again related to your data point, which I also mentioned about in the uh, telecom example, right? Your customer data, let's say you are asking a question related to my balance payment. Today, I mean, of course, there are apps available where you can actually check all those things. But how easy it will be, like you open a, kind of a WhatsApp window, because WhatsApp is so, used heavily. Imagine there is a business account of, some telecom company. You can just ask a question and you get a response, right? That's a way the user experience will change in the future, and it will help all the customers as well as the enterprises.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anil, for helping us understand the future of chatbot with Gen AI. Now we are getting a couple of questions from our audience, and one of the interesting questions Javeria has asked: will chatbots replace human customer service entirely?
I'll take that question. Okay. See, this has been the question since ages. Whenever the technology is increasing and evolving, we always have been asking question: is it really going to replace all the human? The straight answer is no, and it cannot actually replace humans, because the requirements will keep on changing and the requirements will keep on evolving. Okay. Now, chatbots is still, with all the AI component, will be still excellent in handling the routine and repetitive queries, and to some extent, some of the new queries which they can actually handle. But there will be always a need of a human agent, to handle more complex queries, and especially when you have a lot of emotionally sensitive issues. Okay, so for those things, you will still see that human operators are still needed. However, quantity wise, yes, they will be less stressful. They will be handling more, directed requirements. Okay, but yes, I mean, the collaboration is going to happen between AI and humans more. So even if you have a chatbot and the chatbot is actually handling, the human interaction, still you will need humans to actually give the learning. Okay, so it is not going to even always 100% replace the human, but yes, there will be some replacement will happen, but the evolution will happen with respect to what humans needed to do in order to make chatbots more effective and more relevant.
And I
So
think, it's sorry, go ahead, Ajay, completely.
So my human agents, their nature of work is gonna change, and it is going to be more value adding work that the human agents are going to do.
Just to add to what Ajay said, not at all related to chatbot and chat genie, but look at the period of pandemic. I think there were a lot of people at that point of time thinking that the world is going to end. Okay. Now imagine you and then till the and it happened, first wave, second wave, third wave. There was so much of scare, and during the third wave, people got adapted to it, and there were people who were getting it, and nobody even bothered to actually go to hospitals to even get it checked. Now we don't even know. To be very frank, there are so many people getting catching some cold and throat infections and all. People say that there are some strains, but nobody is bothered. So humans are a very adaptable beings. I think we will evolve. There will be chat genies, chatbots, there are other tools, technologies which will keep coming, but humans will evolve and do something better for in future.
Absolutely. So I can say that although Chat Genie AI chatbots can really help customers get a faster answer, but when it comes to complex queries, then customer support team is required um, anywhere in the company. But the volume of generic questions will definitely reduce, which will definitely reduce the operational cost as well at the company's end.
Right.
So this is it from the audience side. We have addressed all the questions. Any other question? Um, if there is any other question, the floor is open and we can address them.
I think
Uh,
one question.
One question is coming up. Can Chat Genie handle different languages, especially in a diverse country like India?
Yeah, this was a chat question for Chat Genie or Chatbot.
Chatbot in general.
The
Okay.
chatbot in general, there are a lot of models of language translation which is available and can be used by the bots. Okay, and I'm sure ChatGenie also has implemented something which Anil can talk about.
Yeah, so we have implemented ChatGPT in 22 languages. I think the demo which Pallavi showed 22 Indian languages. Okay, beyond there are many international languages which are supported by ChatGPT. So you name it, and you will be able to speak in that language to the ChatGPT. I think Pallavi you had shown something on Marathi and Hindi, I guess.
Yes.
So yeah, so similarly, there are 22 Indian languages which are actually supported in the platform, and we have tried it in multiple languages. Even it understands, broken local languages as well. So if you are not a very well versed with your own local language, but you have mix it with Hindi, English, and all, surprisingly the platform is able to adapt to it and understand it and respond accordingly as well.
Absolutely. So we can safely say that for countries or for people who are more comfortable in their local languages like Chinese, Korean, they can use AI chatbots to get the answers. And it also opens the gate for companies to do business in international market who are especially having linguistic barrier like Japan and China.
And Pallavi, it's not limited to these countries. I've traveled around the world. There are many countries who still are not well versed with English. Their local languages. How do they do business? So this is going to be a big game changer for international market.
Great,
Thank you.
Anil. One question for you. I think we have touched upon a lot of areas. The most critical part, how easy it is to implement ChatGenie into a specific industry.
So first of all, the chat genie that we have built is a SaaS-based model, right? So you need to ensure that you build enough. I mean, if I talk about generically how it is easy to be built, you need to do a lot of work, ground level work before you can actually reach to this stage. When we talk about chat genie, we have built a SaaS-based model where you can actually, implement it or use it like a subscription-based model. You just need to copy a simple piece of code into your index file of a website, and that's it. Chat Genie is live for you. You can upload your documents and references into the Chat Genie, and it will start answering questions for your customers. So that it's that simple, to implement.
That means you're saying it's just plug and play.
Plug and play.
Amazing. Great.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anil and Mr. Ajay, for such a detailed presentation and addressing all of the questions. It was clear that AI-powered chatbots can significantly enhance customer service and streamline operation. To our audience, thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, you can always email us. And we'll be having our next webinar every Friday, and the upcoming webinar will be the episode 3 of our chat show. So we will be stay tuned to our emails. We'll be sending you more details via email, and please don't forget to register to it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Pallavi.
Thank you.
Thank you.